Hello and welcome to Eddie Vlogs. This is the final edition of my 3-part series sharing my visit to the Himachal Pradesh. In the previous video, I had shared all details of my visit to the Parashar Lake, McLeodganj and KHAJJIAR, including my stays at Naddi and the famous Khajji cottage. So if you are looking for any information for a visit to those places, you can check out my video following the I button running across the top right corner of your screen. This video is to share the entire story of the final leg of my tour, involving the ever so difficult to reach Sach Pass. It was a thrilling experience, so do watch the entire video till its end and share it with others. I started early from KHAJJIAR at 6 am. The weather was pretty cold. The clear weather of the early morning provided an expectation of a bright day ahead, unlike the previous days of my tour. Sach Pass is located about 140 kilometers from KHAJJIAR, and you can hire a vehicle from KHAJJIAR for around 6,000 bucks for a visit and drop to KHAJJIAR or Dalhousie. The route is via Chamba, TISSA and BAIRAGARH, which is the last town on this route. It takes about an hour to reach Chamba from KHAJJIAR, and hereafter the river Ravi accompanies you. And the post-winter dry river valley offered excellent scenes at every bend. The route climbs to the Sach Pass and then descends to the Pangi Valley on the other side at Kiilar, and is known as the Death Road of India, with snow cover almost throughout the year. The road condition is excellent till some kilometer after BAIRAGARH, whereafter it gradually deteriorates. There are very few food joints along this route, so if you leave without having breakfast from your hotel, make sure you have it at Chamba, because the next ones you shall find is at Koti, 22 kilometers from Chamba, then again at Nakrod, around another 11 kilometers, then again at TISSA, another 13 kilometers, and so on. Just after crossing TISSA, I had the first glimpse of my destination for the day, glaring in bright sunlight. After TISSA, the road becomes narrower. However, it was exceptionally well maintained for such a remote area. The sky was clean and the sun was bearing down really harsh, and it was tremendously exciting to enjoy such weather after my experiences over the past few days. I was still unaware of what was there waiting for me to face in the hours ahead. If you want to stay at a place closer to the Sach Pass, the last option you have is this Hotel Sach Pass, located at CD, which is about 20 kilometers from TISSA and about 35 kilometers from Sach Pass. The next option you get is at Kiilar after crossing the Sach Pass over on the other side. As I proceeded further, the snowy peaks began getting closer with every kilometer, and it was a tempting invitation. After a journey of about 2.5 hours plus some layover for food, I reached BAIRAGARH, the last major habitation before Kiilar on this route. Then there is a police checkpost at Satrundi where you have to show your identity and register yourself. Make sure you cross this post before 2 p.m. from this side. After Satrundi, the scenario changes dramatically. The road becomes worse and you get rocky walls leaning towards you. Further ahead, you enter a forest cover and it strongly resembles the landscapes of Kashmir. People who have been there can closely relate. As the real ascent begins, the road is just a rocky patch and you can find blocks of snow by the roadside. The sunshine was getting dimmer with every passing minute, but there was still no sign of any significant worry ahead. The ride was bumpy to say the least, but with the snow-capped peaks of my destination seemingly getting closer, it was not unbearable. Further ahead, the piles of snow on either side of the road began appearing in the form of large walls by the roadside at places. The road condition, though not scary, was really getting tiresome. Crossing such walls of snow time and again, frequently, was really a thrilling experience. The scenes around were gradually becoming more exciting and inviting. With every passing kilometer, the snow cover along the mountain slopes increased massively. The sunshine vanished but my destination was in clear sight and it was only about 10 to 12 kilometers away. It was right at this point that I was stuck in a mini avalanche on my return journey, which I will show you in a short while. You get a couple of shanties selling food along this route. And this one, the Sharma Dhaba, is the last of them, about 10 kilometers before Sach Pass. I made a brief stopover here before moving on. Upon proceeding further, it was very obvious that the weather was not very happy about something. Dark clouds kept engulfing the mountain peaks and we expected a spell of rain ahead, still oblivious of the looming danger. Drops of rain began appearing on the car's windshield as my driver friend kept crawling ahead. The snowy mountain peaks were visibly within our reach. But within a while, snowflakes began appearing out of nowhere. The scene in front of us on the upper reaches of the mountain were clearly not very welcoming. But we kept moving ahead, determined to make it to the finish. The intensity of the white flakes kept on increasing, but with only about 5-6 kilometers left, we were confident. But in a matter of few minutes, things took a turn for the worse, and ahead of us at the heights, there was clear mayhem, and we could very well sense it at our level. My driver cum guide suggested we should better return before things get worse at where we were. I was initially reluctant, but decided to accept his advice. As we began our descent, the weather seemed to be coming down and I was beginning to get into an argument with my driver, who insisted that it was just a lull before the storm. And very soon, his words came true. And we were caught in the middle of a mini blizzard. It was intense and got really dark, and I was skeptical if we might get stuck somewhere if it continues like this. Thankfully, it did not persist and subsided after about half an hour. However, before we could gain visibility again to move forward, there was an inch thick snow on the road. The slopes were really tricky to navigate, and there was every chance of the car tires skidding off track, which could be fatal. As we moved downwards, the thickness of snow on the road kept decreasing. And then we hit the dead end. A chunk of snow had piled up over in the middle of the road, blocking any vehicular thoroughfare. It was uncertain when and how we could get past the situation. Vehicles were stuck on either side of the blockade. Luckily, the place was very close to one of the shanties which sell food and snacks, which I had already shown earlier. There were a couple of shovels in stock. Occurrences like this are uncommon on this stretch and therefore they have such equipments available. The drivers of the stranded vehicles joined hands to clear the road. It took them nearly over an hour to make it clear for vehicular movement. Finally, after more than 1.5 hours, we had our turn to move ahead. The weather remained heavy and it continued to rain. After crossing TISSA, it cleared up a bit. After crossing Chamba, while heading towards Dalhousie, a look back showed clear skies and glaring peaks of the place where I faced such terrible conditions a couple of hours back, which sadly disrupted my plan of experiencing the majestic Sach Pass. You will cross the beautiful Chamera lake on the way, formed by the Chamera Dam on the river Ravi, and there is an option to enjoy boating in front of a beautiful backdrop. At around 6 p.m, I was entering Dalhousie. And by 6:30, I reached my place of stay overnight, the Hotel Gitanjali under HPTDC. It is located at the heart of Dalhousie, about 100 meters climb from the bus stand. I booked it via HPTDC website and a standard room cost me 1648 plus taxes. The room was huge to say the least and had all necessary facilities. Food and service was also quite good and satisfactory. Later in the day, I explored the nearby Mall Road and Gandhi Chowk, about half a kilometer away from the hotel. There is a famous Tibetan market if you need to do some shopping. That was it for my Himachal tour. So this was the vehicle during my entire journey, owned and driven by Surinder Chauhanji, who guided my entire trip. It cost me 37,000 for over 7 days, including a pickup from Delhi airport. I shall leave his number in the description below if you need it. He accepts payment via digital mode too. I took a HRTC Volvo to Delhi later in the evening at 8 p.m. and then an afternoon flight back from Delhi. I hope you liked the video and my 3-part series on visit to the Himachal. If you do, please click on the like button and share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also hit the bell icon to get updates on more such videos. Thanks for watching.